can't spend one more night. Ooh, sleeping this.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How we doing, man? Jake, how we doing, man? Sam, what's up, bro? Um, Man, this week the market has been. So
Up,
this is what's
man.
been going on this week. What's up,
Yeah,
man? You
man.
good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and so. So I ain't been on the charts for maybe about 2 weeks now. Um, I think last time I took a position was about last week. So I can see here EG tapped into, but then EG I think broke lower time frame structure. USD Chef is something that I really want to be looking at coming up maybe this week and next week. USD CAD just made a new order flow low. So if you get some time, we'll look at those. But today I really want to go over BTC, right? And I'll do a top down on it. I'll do a top down and so what I do, right, is this is going to be back testing slash a trade report for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick top down. I'm going to share my thoughts in terms of what I was thinking when the trade was setting up, because this was setting up for a good while. Um, and also setting up for a good while, and also going to the trade management of it. So look at where I took my partials, look at why I took my partials, and also go into a trade report for myself in terms of rating my performance. Okay, because I'm a firm believer of you can't control the sea, you can only control the sailing of your boat. Okay, so in this market you can't control the market, but you can control the skill set that you bring into the market, right? um so let's look at that. And of course, just like how we do with Mike, if you've got any question, give me just stop me and then ask it, and then we'll dive into that. Yeah, okay, cool. So with BTC, we can see that this, although with its ups and downs, this is a bullish market, right? No two ways about it. So we'll just put that up here. Okay. Oh, by the way, what's I'm doing this. So the way that I trade, right, I need to have a structure. And I'm a limit trader first of all, okay, and I'm also I trade that structure, so I don't really mess about with order flows. Um, Now I'm just gonna put this all of them at once because, and then I'm gonna dive into it, right, just to save some time as well. Intraday and then lower time frame, okay. Actually, lower time frame was bearish, so I'll put that out for a second. Okay. Cool. So yeah, the way that I trade, so I need to have at least two directional bias going into the trade that I want to take. So in this case, it's making sense, right? And I'm going to dive into the market cycles in a bit. But yeah, two directional bias in the trade that I'm taking, and I trade at extremes and limits, just like how Mike teaches. And same thing, right? Accumulate or schematics in SCs and limits into MCs, extremes. Okay, and we'll look at those. So looking at this, where is my cool? Looking at this, right, we can see, the market just making a bunch of reaccumulation. Actually, overall, this is a big accumulation going into a reaccumulation after making this high here. So, high time frame, we're definitely bullish. Intraday for me is being maintained by this. So let's look at that. Okay, intraday is being maintained by this right here. Okay, and we can also see this as well, right? We can clearly see there's 1, 2, 3 drive. Okay, we can see the start of a distro, and we can see 1, 2, 3 drive here as well, and we can see the start of an accumulation, right? Distro plus accumulation after the break equals to your reaccumulation, right? So this, I guess, is your higher time frame slingshot plus your intraday extreme. Okay, and let's go ahead and label those. Structure, this is holding intraday. Okay, right. And as I said, we can go ahead and we can put our distro in here. We can put our accumulation. This is now after identifying my leg. I'm now looking at our market cycle to understand where we are in the market, right? Reaccumulation just before the distro. Okay. And then same thing here. Reaccumulation going into the distro, right? And I'm not afraid of all of those simply because I understand what their purpose is. I understand that we do need to have distributions happening in a bullish market to help us come into our extremes. Okay. And I'm not afraid that here lower time frame is broken. So at this precise point, let me go back to it. At this precise point here, lower time frame is actually bearish. Okay. This is where everybody's having, hot burns, hot aches, headaches, arse aches, everything, right? Because, well, they were buying from up here. So yeah, right now after this break here, we're lower time frame bearish. And I'm looking for price to come into this. Now, so straight away, I'm looking at point of interest number 1 and point of interest number 2. Let's put this here. Okay, this is bullish intraday, right? Okay, so let's actually look at this, right? This 3 days is quite a nice candle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to look into this here, right? This is going to be a nice area for me to look at, right? So there's our 50, there's our 80%. Price did tap into it. So now in actual real time, a lot would go off that would say look for an accumulation. So this is now when I would drop down into my lower time frame and I'll look for something. Okay. So let's see if we did get something. Right. So my plan going into this, couple of things, right? There is, yeah. Okay, so we can either look for an accumulation into here, okay, where either after the spring or the STB, we get a break inside the schematic, and then on the pullback we enter point of interest. So plan of attack 1. Second plan of attack, I guess, would be for me specifically the way that I trade would be taking this out, because then this is what will be holding the new leg. So this accumulation will come back into it once when we make this new high, and all we have to do is just wait for it to tap into either the spring or the test again, so we can take another trade from here. Now in this case, it would be a limit order, okay, because this accumulation actually did something. In this case, it broke this high. So that's the way that I'll be looking at it. And let's see if we did get that. Yeah. So price came in, all right. Now at this point, we did get a nice. So this right here would have been the trade for me, okay. And in the fact that we are getting this, right, like we're still walking ourselves down, we're still making lows and lows. This tells me that this slingshot is not overcount. And that will be coming back into the extreme. Okay, and this to me just simply means that they've came back, they've mitigated, all right, from the slingshot, they sell to buy candle from here. They've mitigated from that already, and then now they're coming back into the extreme to look for to either add more position and mitigate their sell to buys. Either way, we just have to be more patient. So this is when I first started to look at it. So didn't do anything throughout this whole distro for about 30 days, didn't do nothing. Started looking at it from here. This one I laid out this area and then this area here. So I'm going to highlight this so then we know the slingshot is this is the line in the sand for us, right? Bearish order flow. It's not, SC is not holding any structure. This reaccumulation is not holding any structure for me. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we come back in, right? We've actually come deeper into the 80% now. And we can clearly see what it's doing, right? can you guys see the redistro that's happening? Okay, right. Let's now this redistro, I need it to break this bearish order flow, and I think we did that. Yeah, there you go, we did that here. But let's get some more price action into it. Okay, there you go. Now we definitely did it. Okay, clear that. Okay, now let's come back up. All right, and let's look at the bigger picture again. So this area we know is not valid anymore for us, right? So we are bearish order flow, we are bearish lower time frame, no problem, because we're still being maintained by this area here. Now this, let's check the 3-day if you can find a nice area into there. Let's even check the weekly. No, play back with it. 6-day. Okay, gonna let that 11 days. Come on. Let me check on, let me stay on that 11 day. Okay, so we can see that this 11th day, this whole thing here, that was the last push down before they've accumulated orders to go up, and this accumulation in here also caused that break there, right? So let's do the lazy man fib, just from the top there to the bottom, right? And this is what we're waiting on. Okay, so we can see now after invalidating the slingshot, we've tapped into that 50%, and here's our 80% of it. Okay, and again, now that we tapped in, nothing there for us, we can just go and look for an accumulation on the lower time frame. Now, at the same time, on the lower time frame, what we getting? We're getting a bunch of redistros, which is fine. It's okay. Those redistros are going to be target points for us later on. Redistro, redistro. Okay. And now we tapped into this 50%. Let's see what happens. So ideally now I'm looking for some sort of accumulation between that 50 and that 80. Accumulation. And now let's actually look at our structure legs as well. So for me, this is now what is maintaining lower time frame. This area here. So when we break that, we're gonna be bullish lower time frame. Okay, simply because we can see the full market cycle in that, meaning you can see the accumulation going into distro, going into redistro, and now we're now into that 50 and 80. We're gonna look for an accumulation, which we're kind of printing some, all right, but we're still at the early stage of it. So let's wait. All right, and again, plan of action into this is going to be stay inside the price action and look for a schematic break to them, which we can enter off the pullback inside the schematic. If we miss that because the bullishness is strong for some reason and only pulls back like that and doesn't come back to our entry price, guess what? Once price breaks this, right, this comes back on the table. And let me do it clearly. So that was position number plan of attack number one. Once the accumulation here breaks this lower time frame, so we're now bullish times 3. This area, this accumulation comes back because we will have a slingshot and we'll have this as the MC. So we can look for accumulation to go up, or we can look for accumulation here to go up. Okay, so that's the plan of attack 2. Okay, let's see. So let's drop back down to like a 3-hour. Okay. Okay, so we tapped into that 50%. Was there a micro inside there? Okay. Right, here we are. So within this, come to 15. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know what this was. This must have been some sort of exchange. That was 11 o'clock. So I don't know. This must have been some sort of exchange issue over here. But if we look at just that low and this low, not counting this, we needed this to get to be broken. Okay. And then and then we've got that. So now I can actually look for a pullback to come into it. Okay. But we can already see price just kept making highs and highs and highs, which, as I said, is fine. So now plan of attack number two is on point, because now we're going to be looking for that break and then on a pullback to go higher up. Okay. So this is something that for me has really helped me with FOMO, just understanding my plan of attack before you look for an entry. Because if you don't have such thing, it's just like, a general going into war, right? If you ain't got no plan of attack, um, you can't decide what you're going to do to your enemy once you're on the field. You need to have a pre-plan, and you need to have discussed it with your team. So in this case, it's just you, yourself, and yourself. um, um, well, I guess it's you, yourself, and your trading plan, right? This is where the discussion happens. Is it part of your trading plan? Like, can your team handle it? In your case, can your capital handle what you're about to do? If yes, proceed. If no, take a step back and reevaluate. Maybe look at where is your next plan of attack, right? Um, cool. So yeah, let's see what happens now. Okay, so at this point, I would have an alert here that says bullish lower time frame and breakout structure. Now, so for me, okay, now this is something that a lot of people can do, but I personally don't, right? So like you see after this break, and even after this break, this is what's holding order flow, and price did come back and did trade into like the extreme of it. Okay, like even if you were to do the lazy man fib from this to that, right? You can see we came back into about 50 and 80%, to which, you could have, let me clear that. You could have gotten into an entry. Now, here's the reason why I don't do such thing, right? Because I mean, you can work, right? Like, let's just say you even got into the 50%, right? And this is Bitcoin, so I guess this would be all right. There's your 4 to 1 there. Uh, Now let's just say even if you're holding it to your intraday high to make a new intraday high, so the RNR here is not an issue. I'm not looking at that. What I am looking at is the reason. So I'm trying to trade less. Okay, this if I was to, in a sense, to me, is chasing a price. It causes me to trade more, and here's why. So let's wait for that break. Okay, yeah, now we definitely get it, right? So now we've got that break here. Let's look at our market cycles once again within that. So what do we have here? We have got a accumulation. We have got a reaccumulation. And then following the market cycles, we can anticipate for a either distro or start of a distro going into a reaccumulation again. Now, remember this. So question for you guys, right? What is holding lower time frame now? So if you can annotate. If you want to put in the chat, put in the chat. Okay, yeah, right, exactly, right. So this is what is holding lower time frame. So this buy that we did take from, from the lower time frames, order flow reaccumulations, right? Not that they're not wrong. Obviously, you would have gone ahead here and take partials, which is why taking partials is important. But what's this? Is it wrong, right, for market to go into a distribution, come back down, go below your break evens, your uh reduced risk, right, and come into this area here, this accumulation here, and make a new high?
Yeah, that's totally viable, but that would play with your head massively.
Exactly, right? So for me, in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, I can ride this up to that area. That's fine. But think about how long this is going to take me to do. Okay. And all I can do is just wait, right? And then now I know this is a structure point now. All I have to do is now is look for my limit, okay, and set my limit and then go off. That's it. Right. This is the kind of this is the approach that I take. It's very passive. It's very, as I said, limit, because it gives me that freedom of just set it and leave it kind of thing. And if my stop loss does get hit, I always say it's just a fee that I paid to the it's a fee that I paid to the market for in exchange of information in terms of structure. Okay, so at this point, this is what is holding lower time frame. Where's my and I think Jake's getting it. Why is this not happening? Cool. So boom. Structure. Now this is what's holding my lower time frame structure. So back to our structure board, we are bullish times 3. So every time there's a structure change, I come back up into my high time frame and I look at where I'm at. So my steps are always pause. That within itself gives me an idea of where I'm at. Okay. So let's delete that. Okay. So I have tapped into my intraday extreme. I am trading at my high time frame slingshot, and I have now broken my lower time frame break of structure. Okay. So now let's look at this. Let's go back down and look at what's happening. Okay. So now I guess within this now, when I was doing, I'm not going to go through it now, but when I was looking at this area, I wonder if it's the same, but okay. So this on Coinbase was in a really nice candle. I mean, you can kind of see it here. So this for me now comes back on. Okay, you can see that. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and throw the limit. So this is going to be 50%, 395 minute, as well as the spring. Okay. And this is the 80%. Okay. That and reaccumulation is just going to be a case of slingshot. So the way that I'm looking at it is like bullish extreme, lower time frame, and this just I'm just going to do this whole area here because accumulation can happen anywhere, right? And we can see a bunch of imbalances in there. Lower time frame slingshot. Okay, so same thing, right? Looking at our market cycles, we can look at accumulation, reaccumulation, look for a distro. I'm not going to be afraid of that distro. I'm actually going to wait for it to plan out to come into my area of demand 1 or my area of demand 2, where I'll be waiting here with an accumulation to go up, or here looking for that 80% to be popped to go up. That's pretty much it. Okay. Check. You love to find those kinds of so good to find it. Mate, it's the trigger. I call it Twitter finger, man. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right. Yeah, keep going with it. Okay. So okay, cool. Now I guess you could go ahead and refine those once again. For example, your SC, right? You can bring that down to your 50 to your 80, right? and set your alert just above the 50, so you get the time to go to your laptop, to your computer, and then watch the accumulation play out. So this is what we're gonna do now. We're just gonna wait for that distro to play out, and let's see. Okay, so now even with this distro, right, if you got into this somehow, right, because we were trading at 50% of this extreme, okay, can you guys see the hedge? I mean, even though if you can't see the full distro, can you guys see the hedge? There's the break that you need. Okay, so this is now what's holding order flow after the break, and then there you go. You got 1, 2, 3 micro distro in there. You could have tapped into to go down. Now I didn't take that because I'm not in the buy yet. Let's actually dive into that. Let's try. Actually, the 2 hour was the best. No, we keep it 2 hour for now. And it's just going to be a case of that to that. Okay, so there's the 50%, and I like to see how deep we retrace. Okay, because with me, right, this would have been something that I like to shoot. So you see how that 80% of the full volume candle lines up with the 88% pullback. That's something for me just gives me the confirmation, right? Mike used to say X marks the spot. That for me does it. Okay, but regardless, right, we can see at the 50% there was a nice distro that did play out. With the micro being, this 2 hour full candle here, and we can see that tapped into the 50% again as well inside. So a couple of opportunities there, but we'll say we're not going to do that because we're not in the buy yet, but it's there for you to back this on your own. Okay, cool. So now what we're looking for an accumulation inside the slingshot and inside the MC. So here my alert would go off that says look for an accumulation inside the lower time frame slingshot, and let's look at what is printing. Okay, now we can see we haven't really got anything. The first thing I like to look for is the booth. There's the low, there's the new low. Okay, this is what was maintaining it, right? We haven't got anything except from that, right? But then that just came in hot. Okay, so this is gone now, but we got 1, 2, 3, and 4th drive. So what do we need? We need that to break now. And at the same time, we have tapped into the lower time frame extreme. Okay, so going back to extreme, what can we do? We can do a couple of things. We could do one at 50%. Right, if you want to have full volume all the way down, or if you want to just a little bit above, below the 80, and then you can have a split at the 80 there. Okay, and then again, first target we're looking is this new lower time frame high, and then this one here. Okay, so that's plan of attack number 1. So this is why I love structured trades, right? Because it just gives you a more, watch this, right? So it gives you this one here when it comes back after this, after making a new high. That's your plan of attack 1. Once one is creating a schematic, it gives you that booth, gives you a second opportunity, right? And even if you miss that, once when it goes and makes a new high, this is now what? Your MC again, isn't it? So it comes back and give you a third entry, right? Now, once you become superb with it, just before number 1, if it's trading at 50 or 80, then you can go in there and get a micro. There's your 4th. But if you ain't got the opportunity of being in front of your computer, then there's 3 opportunities there. Why do you need to FOMO? Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so price is coming into it's already inside our demand zone, but we're looking for that 50%, right? So bastard, but it doesn't tap. Okay, it doesn't tap. It gave us that break. Let's go back. Right, so let's see if there was a micro in there. 9. Okay, so looking at this, there's our 50%. Now I was looking at this there was two things I didn't like. We can see the yellow snow here, and we can also see that this was a time when I was sound asleep. I guess the third thing was this was Monday morning. Okay, so not really a trade for me. I think this was Monday morning. Let me double check. 24th February. Oh no, sorry, this was Thursday. But regardless, yeah, it was Asian and it was 6 o'clock. I would definitely was not watching it. Okay, and again, the limit here did not get activated, and the 80% also did not get activated, right? So plan of attack number 1 did not work. We now come back to plan of attack number 2, and Jake is going to say, but look at this, right? Again, on Coinbase, this looks much better, but 455 is what I'm looking at. And once when we get the break, which is there, okay, it's game on from here. Okay, so now for me, if this would have a limit there because it's extreme, but this is now deleted. This is now deleted. Why? Because we're now being maintained after this break. This is now what's maintaining. If this comes back down and breaks this and taps into the 50 and 80, this has just turned into a redistro, right? And this is how you go and then you save yourself, even though you had reduced risk here for some reason, okay? Because whatever you weren't confident, you weren't in front of your computer, you was walking or whatever, and you've just threw a little bit of risk there as a test. Once price did that, you had enough chance for you to turn around and then say, okay, delete this and delete this. Okay. Because if this was to turn around, as I said, this would be a redistro. So now inside the schematic, we have got bullish order flow here. Okay. And again, same thing. Where's this screen? This is our accumulation. Okay. And I'm going to label this one. Okay, and then we've got TP. And then we can also see this is our creek. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and delete this. Don't need that. Right. So after this now, okay. All right. So I can go ahead and delete that. Go ahead and delete that. So this is my 50% spring, as well as 455 minute. And this is my 80% spring 455 minute. Okay. Now we can actually go down because there's an imbalance here and price can react from there. So right, so straight away what I'm looking at is I'm looking for price to come into this, okay, from that 50% and that 80%. Okay, let's see if it does. Okay, now it just taps into the open and goes. Okay, no problem. Now what do we need to get? So we guess what we miss opportunity 1, we miss opportunity 2. right? So within this leg now, this is our accumulation, and this is our reaccumulation. It's not an SC just yet, it's just a reaccumulation. Okay, because we need that lower time frame to be broken for it to be an SC. Now it doesn't do so, right? It doesn't break that lower time frame. Instead, we get some sort of reaction from that distro, and we break order flow. Okay, so this distro, they've come back into it, and then they're now starting to make their way down. Now let's look at this, right? Let's paint a picture. So here we have reacted from the lower time from intraday MC, from higher time frame slingshot, we went ahead, we made a lower time frame break. Okay, and guess what, we came back into, so here lower time frame MC, right? Now we've got this distro. So are we more bullish or are we more bearish just because we have reacted from this distro? We're still more bullish, right? Which is why when we come back into, this area here, this is something that we're still going to be looking. Now, what we do need is we do need to have an accumulation. We can't throw a limit simply because it didn't do anything, right? We didn't break that structure, which is where the accumulation comes in. Okay, so let's look at it. Okay, so we're now price tapped into the reaccumulation. Right now, at this point, price can also come into that 50 and that 80. So those are still on tag. And then once we make that, this is going to be back on the table, right? So let's come back down to like a 3 hour. Let's see what price is cooking up here, right? And same thing you can do is you can just maybe do this whole thing here. Okay, and then look for price to come into it. So we come into that 50%, and let's look at our order flow inside here. So we've got this low, and we pushed in this low. So this is what we need to break. Okay. Now, so we tapped into that 80. As I said, no limit. Now we've got this low, and we made this new low. So this is what we need to break. Okay, so we should have an alert here that says booth. And right back now here. Okay, and we can see the accumulation in play now, right? Okay. Oh, sorry, it's got a fourth drive to it. That's a shame. So this is what we need. We now need to wait. Okay, and then same thing, right? We need to have that break. Okay, and even if you did get stopped out here, that's fine. We come back. Okay, so we can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 drive. There's the creek, there's the break outside of the trading range, there's the break that we need from the spring. And then now I'm just happy for price to walk itself down, get an entry, and then we can go higher up. Okay, so let's look at this. Just doing that from that top to that bottom, week to week. There's my 80%. Okay, and then now once I find like a break, order flow wise inside, I'm more than happy to just throw a little bit, throw, what's it called, the fib, and then start calculating the retracement. So can't see no break. Okay, there you go. We got some break, right? Definitely some break, and then we can see the pullback coming in. All right. Okay, And I mean, this one, let me delete this. Okay, so we're very close off from that 88 to that. If you wanted, to add that there or to add that here, that's fine. I'll rather go for that 80% there. And again, we'll talk about partials in a second, but just again, target wise, we're looking at that lower time frame break there. That's a 17 to 1. Okay, so that's okay, right? This is a good trade. Go ahead and throw my wrist there. You can even, let's do on a 50, because that's what I did. I just threw a $50 on that. Okay, cool. Now I've got, as I said, you can do, if you did that 88.8, that's 14 to 1. If you did that 80, that's what I think it was about 17. Yeah, 17 to 1. Okay, so go ahead and delete that now, and we'll leave that on. Okay, so there's the 50. All right, and this tapped me in. Okay, so as soon as the market opened, it tapped me in. This was on a Monday, as I was saying, right? And now, right now, let's look at trade management wise. So for me, I've created this plan. So I've got, when we make this move here, I'm gonna go and reduce risk. When we make, what's this? So reduce risk. When we come back, make a new high, break even. When we come back, make it like booth, which is gonna be this. Is gonna be pay risk, okay, and then eventually, well, we're looking to take partials at the lower time frame break here. Okay, so reduce risk, break even, pay risk. Sometimes it depends on the, this is like a tip, this is like a theory, right? This is like a theory that like every high, I'll just do that. But sometimes I can do break even and pay risk. For example, in this case, I can do like break even and re-entry, for example, because this would be a good re-entry that we can do. And then it depends, right? You need to study the market for that. But this is something that I've just been creating. Take partials here. Take partials here. This is booth. And then when we make this new lower time frame break, take partials, structure. Okay, so I actually have, I know Mike I think it's got about 4 TPs. I've got 5. Okay, so this is something that I've been playing with, and it's been really helping me psychologically. And it just turns me like into automatic trading, if that makes sense, right? Because I would have done this just like how I've done it now, and then I would have gone ahead, put an alert. That's the break even. So when the alert goes off, I'm going to break even. Then I just need to wait for that high, put an alert there. That's just pay risk. Then when that happens, I'm going to pay risk. So it just basically, like every time I open up my phone or on my MT5, I'm not going to say, oh, okay, price is trading 200 in profit now, what am I going to do? Or 300 in profit, what am I going to do? Nope, I need to look at this. This is my plan. This is what this is going to tell me what to do. Okay, so first thing first, we need to go ahead and reduce risk, which is, well, sorry, it would have been that, because this is enough for me to go ahead and reduce risk. Okay, so I've done that wrong there. Right, this is enough for me to reduce risk. Let me go ahead and delete this. This here is, then I would need to go to break even, because this is your low, this is your new low, so this was that high, so this is where we go to reduce risk. And at the same time, remember, if you could, I mean, if you're available, just doing from that to that, there's our re-entry opportunity. Okay, now on my re-entries, I would go for the 50, split to about 80 there, and then 80 there. Okay, something like that. And then again, same target and same target. Okay, okay, the reason why is because when they come back, I don't want, like, it could be like this, and and I'm here still waiting on my 80, for example, Okay. So sometimes, you know, after the break, I would throw a little bit on 50 and throw a little bit on 80, especially on schematic breaks. Okay, so let's see. Right, so in this case, we can see it just tapped in from that 50. So now that we got that, boom, delete the 80. So we're now in from 2 trades. So break even on the first trade, right? And this here is going to be reduced risk on second trade. Okay, which I'm going to delete in a minute because it's also going to be pay risk, right? For my first trade. So price comes back, and I think it does give us another opportunity, which is just crazy right now. Yeah, there's the 50%, but that's, you know, I only look for the first two. The third one is order flow for me. Okay, so reduce risk on the second trade, and we're break even on the first one. Now upon making that new high, so all of this I don't look right now here. Oops. Send back this one. Right. Pay risk. Okay, so I'm now paid risk on my first. I've now paid risk on my first trade here on this one here, right? And then on the next high, I'm going to pay risk on my second trade. So reduce risk on second trade, pay risk on the first, and then now I'm looking to go to break even on when we make a new high on the second trade. Okay, so we made this new high here. So this way I would have taken some partials because we made a new high here as well. Okay, so first partials. Take partials, break even on second trade. Okay, and then now we're going to be taking partials when we make this now. Okay, so now that's it. So right, I'm risk free on both trades. I've taken, the only thing I now need to do is I now need to pay risk on my second trade, and that's it. I'm letting it ride. Okay, and that is going to be when we make this new high here. Okay, first trade I'm done with now. Okay, the MT5 is now going to do my job of taking this partial structure here, and that's it. Break even, so pay risk, second trade. So there you go, right? That's that there. Right, so now I've got to do doing nothing. This is everything I had to do manually. After taking my first manual partial here, and that's it now. Just letting it both right. Okay, so there you go. That's where this was at. Okay, and then I think the rest was history. Started to get a bit of distro, and this is where we are now. Okay, so that's that. This first one gave us a 17-1, and the second gave us a 15-1. Okay, and this one was, so I managed to save $10 on the first one. So this was $60 that I've added on the second one. Okay, so R and R dollar wise, so this 500, this $50 was sitting at 870, and this $60 was sitting at $797. Okay, nearly 800. So that is not bad. Okay, for a two weeks trade personally, to where we got now. Okay, 14 days, 7 hours, with 21% movement. And the only thing is, it took time. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it took time. When did I questions? Well, let me try to go look for this. For your questions, if you got any questions, just to clarify before my data. Let me see when I started looking at this. Excellent, ICP, poly. Okay, so we got this here. This was back in January 12th. This was when I was looking at it back around the 4,000 mark, after making that structure break here inside the schematic. And then since then, the next update, yeah, that was inside this here. That was 25th of Jan. So January, and it wasn't until March that I took the trade. This one here. Okay. So price came back into it. This was anything, and there's that break that we was looking at, right? Then on the pullback. So this was again 1 month after now, 24th of Feb. 24th of Feb. And there's that 455 candle. Really nice one. There was a little bit of imbalance in there, and I was waiting on that there. That was 24th of Feb. And there you go. So there was the accumulation. There was the reaccumulation that we needed. Yeah, that was it. To get a 15 and 17 RNR, two trades. So as I said, there was a lot of opportunities within that you could have taken, order flow wise, but that's not the way that I personally trade. I need it to come back into a structure point. If it doesn't, move on. Okay, cool. So let me check if there's any. Right, any questions on here before we hop off? And I'm going to input this in my journal, rate the performance of my trading, and that should be a night. Nope. Okay, cool. Let's put this in. So 13th. And if you don't do this, I'll personally suggest that you guys do this. Put the 18th here. And then this was the 27th. I'm gonna have to add BTC, yeah. And this was long. Entry price I got in 7. Okay, and take profit. We was looking for that high here. Exit price was that as well. Okay, and this was a win. This was a win. So exit price I'm still holding on. Yeah. Just adding those up. So that is setting up. And this was, yes, low time frame extreme. No, so this was, yeah, extreme, tapped into the extreme. Low time frame extreme structure. A range of accumulations inside the intraday extreme plus higher time frame slingshot that gave us a low time frame breakout structure. Bullish breakout structure. Asian. This was London. Was it? So London, and then it happened to. No, this was Asian. This one was also Asian as well. Okay, so bullish times. This was Monday, wasn't it? 13th Monday, 14th, 15th. So I did choose Wednesday. So this one was Monday, and this one was Wednesday. Okay. Time for setup. This is guess where it's going to get interesting. So it was this here. So we needed this break to happen. Okay. And that took 16 days. So I'm going to round it up to 17 days. 17 days. And then the same thing for the 14 days. Shit. So there's that. There's my image before. My image after is just going to be this one here. Okay. And the case study, the trade log. This is going to be a virtual trade log because I was talking about it. I'm going to do the trade report next card, and then I'm going to do. I guess this is also the both during trade review and end of trade review because I didn't get a chance to do this. Running a bit over time, but that's fine. So this is something that I do every time I've taken a trade. This is like a report card. So this is where it's me evaluating myself, what I did wrong and what I did right, what happened is still loading, but I use this as like a template, and I'm just going to make a copy and edit that specifically for this trade. Duplicate. Okay, cool. So this was by BTCUSD, lower time frame. Report card, the date, 27th. Backdating it, but it's cool because when I look back, the date's not going to matter as much. Okay, year 2020 goal create database. So now this is going to be March. My March goal is to pay myself my risk. Pay risk. Okay, so this trade setup was a high time frame, was an intraday, was a lower time frame, was a break of structure. We did have a schematic inside. Okay. What else do we have? Yeah, I guess all those. Come on. Okay, and this. Come on. Oh no. Cool. Why is this not working? Hmm. Sorry about this, guys. Taking its time. Okay, let's see. I was in this one. Okay, cool. So intraday, this can be deleted because this was an A plus trade for me. We had higher time frame bullish, intraday bullish, lower time frame bullish. The accumulation gave us a break of structure. That's what we was playing, and then we was playing with the week off inside, minimum of 10 to 1. Okay. Performance, it was a 10 out of 10 trade, and this was a good winning trade. Okay. And we're going to look at why I'm going to give myself 10 out of 10. How well did I trade this opportunity? I was very patient and was watching the market and waiting for it to come into my point of interest. No break of structure, no trade. Okay. Did I identify the right opportunity? Yes. We were trading inside extremes of structure. Okay, every time I was looking for a buy opportunity was all inside. So this was extreme that was looking for a buy. This was inside the schematic, inside of this leg that was looking for a buy. Price came back. We waited for the extreme to come back. So that's what we was doing. Did I participate in the right opportunity? Yes. Okay. Was I trading the market that offered the best opportunity? Yes. Why is this coming up like that? Yes. Just to make a new lower time frame break of structure was a 17 to 1. Exceeding my target. Did I structure my trades to the best of my ability? Okay, yes. Yes. Okay, now coming into the risk management, did I enter at a good point for the risk to reward? Yes. Waited for extremes and slingshots. Looked for micro accumulations inside point of interest. Did I assess? Yes. Okay, so although we were inside a lower time frame extreme, which allowed me to get to enter with max. We never got the break, so I had to reduce my risk. Did I follow rules for adding and proactively taking trades? Yes. So going to reduce risk, going to break even, going to pay my risk and stuff like that. I would say that was wonderful. Yes. February's back test helped a lot with it. Keep it up. Okay, so what did I do well? Patience was really good. Patience. Risk management, trade management, the best one. So far, trade management, finding confluence, not getting distracted was also another one. Okay, because I weren't listening to everybody that was saying, oh, Bitcoin was about to turn now, Bitcoin is about, you know, would keep dropping, blah 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 blah. I wasn't getting distracted. It was me, the market, and my trading plan. Did not trade order flow. Okay, was only waiting for structure. Right. Did today help with monthly goal? Yes, 100%. The trade management is wonderful and it helped with monthly goal. Solutions, what I could do better. Keep finding these trades. Have your plan of attack so you know when is your next re-entry rather than chasing price, because that's what helped with this, right? Every time there were, every time, because let's look at how many times we've missed trades, right? We have missed trades here because we was waiting for obviously the 50% and the 80%. I think, no, wait, maybe before that, I think. Yeah, so we missed trades here, first of all. Okay, because it came very close to that 50, it never did. Okay, so there's where we were originally looking at, 50 to 80. So that's one. Then, okay, yeah, we was looking at that 390, wasn't it? 390, it came ever so, no, it was, where was it? I remember one of them we missed, like, it was this one here, right? So that was one, this was two. We missed the 390 50% by like a little bit. So that's the second one. And then after this break here, so we missed this one here third. Okay. Yeah, so that's three missed trades in a space of a month and a bit. Okay. So imagine the FOMO within you now. But when you understand, okay, cool, it now needs to break this high and then wait for the pullback, it now needs to do this and then wait for that, then you know you're not having so much of a FOMO. Okay. Yep. Okay, so what am I going to do to achieve these goals? I would say study this, rewatch the trade reviews. Okay, so then I'm gonna come back to that later. Okay, cool. So just a quick glance. Pay risk, item frame intraday. This was a good winning trade. Why is this like that? Handwritten. I don't know. I was very patient and the construction of trade is a trade had the exchange of order flow of structure, yes. Rewatch. Okay, cool. Now this needs to be deleted. a report card saved on Google Drive. Okay. And now I'm now going to get this link, put it onto here, trade report here. So this one and this one. Okay, and all of these I'm going to add later. Once I upload, the YouTube link is going to be on here, and case studies, I need to save this. So this is going towards my case study. This is done. Yep. Okay, done. All right, so that's going to be added later. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it, guys. I went over the full top down on BTC. Looked at obviously the market cycles, the legs, accumulation, so schematics inside there. Looked at price coming into point of interest, how price reacts once it comes into, and what we look for, and then the amount of missed trades, and then proceeded with trade management, proceeded with evaluating yourself, journaling that, and yeah, you know, like tracking yourself and your performance. I hope you guys learned something through. Oh shit. Yeah, so I'm closing as well, bro. But I appreciate you guys, and I just, as I said, was filling in for Mike. So I missed the start. Good stuff, GK. Yeah. So I'm gonna drop the link once it's uploaded. Cool. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.